Hello, welcome to the round 15 preview as the Blues are about to face off against the Cats. It's the rematch. We're at the MCG on Friday night, 7:40 p.m. It'll be the first time we play the Cats since not long ago, round 7, in our first rematch of the 2024 AFL season. Even though we haven't played certain teams, quite a few teams actually, for the first time, we're still playing the Cats for a second time. We've come off a bye. I don't know about you guys. The bye it's an important part of the experience. It is a reminder of why the footy is so important to us and what the footy does to our schedules. I know for me, no doubt, I lose my head a little bit without it. I lose my head with it. I lose my head without it. It's a never-ending roller coaster of emotions when it comes to the footy. Fortunately for us, we've had a lot to smile about and a lot to be happy with in season 2024. And for that, I'm grateful. I'm grateful that, we're watching footy and enjoying it, and we're watching a good side. We're watching a Carlton Football Club that is showing signs of growth, signs of maturity, and now we set ourselves up for, the final stretch, the second half of the season. And, you start, it's hard because I start naturally thinking about going on a run and, making sure that we do what we need to do week by week, get to finals, hopefully, play prelim at the MCG and take it from there and hopefully go all the way. And this is the first time I felt this way after the bye. Pretty much, actually, this is a new feeling. Last year it was, let's just go 1 week at a time and see if we can make finals. Whereas I feel like we're in such a strong position now that, we've set ourselves up. But the job's not done. And I don't want to get too ahead of myself because I know that anything can happen in footy. But I'm really confident as to what I've seen in the last, I think, 3 weeks in particular. There have been some really good wins this season, but the last 3 weeks I have felt a renewed sense of maturity with the group. I'm watching games now and I'm a little bit more calm. There seems to be a better management of the game and the emotions that come with the game and the momentum swings that come with the game. And it feels like the group has had the penny drop moment, and the question marks for me at the start of the year are mostly around, can we continue on from the breakthrough that we had, or was the breakthrough just a patch of great form? But I think what we've shown so far is that we are continuing to build, and now we get to test ourselves against yet another contender. It doesn't stop. We spoke about playing against the 10 best teams in the competition in the first half of the year. We're going to go again against the Cats. And really, the stage is set for what looms to be a really emotionally packed run to the conclusion of the 2024 AFL season. We're going to come up against the Cats this week. And, very similar sentiment to the last time that we played the Cats. The respect and, they're a quality outfit. They've got experience around the ground. They're relatively healthy as well. They started the season as the form team of the competition. I think that narrative changed just after they played against us and beat us. I think that then moved to GWS, but they definitely banked their credits early in the season. They won their first 7 games. And so I'm looking forward to seeing how we stack up this time. I remember that game, now that I've reviewed it a bit more. I had sort of put it, I think, in a loss. I try and, for the most part, remember the lessons. But for the most part, the game's a bit hazy, even though it was only this season. But the clear memories from round 7 were that we were not clinical, not dissimilar to the way in which we played against the Bombers played against us in the last time we played. We had runs of play. We dominated in certain areas of the ground. We looked at the statistical avenues that usually dictate a Carlton win. We were doing a lot right, but not the main thing, and that is getting the win. So now that we've got a few players back compared to last time. Sard and McGovern, I think, are really important structurally for what we do. I think they are important pieces. I'm looking forward to seeing what difference that'll make, what lessons we learned from last time in the way that we enter the ball, in the way that we use the ball, in the way that we sort of stick together. And I remember that last 5 or 6 or 7 minutes where the game was in Geelong's control. Well, to be honest, it was in Geelong's control for the majority of it, based on the scoreboard pressure they were able to put on us. But then all of a sudden, we broke through. They held off so well, the Cats. They held our runs. They didn't allow our momentum to creep up. So I'm hoping this week we find that period of time in the game earlier rather than the last couple of minutes of the game when the game was pretty much dead. I'm hoping that we find that breakthrough a little earlier. I remember the moment where I thought the momentum was going to come. There was that moment where Zach Williams was hit off the ball. He goes down. Ollie Henry then marks the ball, kicks a goal, and that kind of stifled the momentum just as I felt we were about to find something. And so I, based off how we have been playing a little bit more consistently, I expect us to be better this time around. You never know if you're going to capitalise early. I am curious around the bye. Geelong have traditionally, over the last quite some time now, traditionally not done very well after the bye. I don't know if that's going to play into our hands this week or not. We're coming off the bye as well. We're incredibly rested going into Friday night. And I'm going to be curious to see what that first quarter looks like. Will there be a bit of a sluggish start from either side? Both sides. We both played on the exact same day on that Sunday, King's Birthday Eve. Obviously, the Cats played a little earlier in the day against the Swans. So that's something I'm looking forward to understanding. But overall, I mean, this is it. This is the beginning of the most important part of 2024. And, we get to paint the next picture of what our season will look like. A few elements. At the time of filming this, I have no idea around the health of the list. We have been told that we're going to get updates after the bye on a number of players. Chera, Martin, to name a few. I think Cottrell's in that boat. My gut feel at the time of filming this, I'm always curious to do this because, by the time you're watching this, we might have more information. But my gut feel is that Chera will be the one that's ready. And so the question is he someone that just comes straight into the side? I believe he is. I believe he is that higher quality player that you bring him straight in if he's available, of course. Pito's another one that's interesting. The 1 ruck, 2 ruck debate. I think that'll just be something that's discussed every week. But he, I would assume, would be ready to go after this much time off now with the hurt finger. And so those are probably the 2 names that I think are going to be in the majority of considerations for this week. Motlop to another extent. I'm just not sure what the story is there with him. For the Cats, it looks pretty healthy. They're going to have Tom Stewart this time around. And, he's probably the one that I bookmarked last time we played. That was a big story. They were very healthy, but for Tom Stewart, maybe Gary Rowan, you throw him in the mix there. But I think Tom Stewart is kind of like he's like a coach out there. He's like similar to what Sam Doherty can be for us when he's out there. He's just directing traffic. So that's who they'll get back. I was really curious last time we played about how much it meant for the Geelong fans that they had beaten us. And I asked the question the other day, is this because everyone just hates Carlton, or is this because Geelong now respect Carlton? That was something that caught my attention after last time. We also go into this week, and it marks the 9th Carlton Respects game. This is a fixture that we have not won ever. 0-8 going into this round. I remember the first time we did this, and what I reflect on with this initiative is, I think with time, the impact has started to show more and more. I think because we also live in a digital age, a social media age, we're living in a content age. More eyeballs are on this topic. We've brought the conversation to light. We do it every year. We do it more than just once a year. We do it often, and I think it's an important initiative. It doesn't take away from the footy, in my view. The results in this game 0-8. I don't know if there is a correlation between the game and the cause. I don't think there is. I think it's just a coincidence. But, for me, this marks a modern club. There have been studies done around sporting organisations and, whether they should or shouldn't have a role to play in societal issues. I think it's a great cause. I think it's an important conversation to have. It's an important message. And when you have a platform as big as what the Carlton Football Club has, and when you live in this world that we live in now, where you can reach a significant amount of people through your messaging, I think it's an important one. I think I speak every year with my experience with this cause. I don't want to cover it too much. Growing up, saw a lot of it as a kid, and definitely helped shape my understanding of how to interact with women, no doubt. And I think part of my life's mission is to not make the same mistake that my biological father was making back in the day. So that's something that's close to me, a very important cause to me, and it affects a range of people in a number of ways. And so I am grateful that the club have a role to play in this conversation, and they bring the conversation to light. So that's important. What would be super impactful is to win this game. Vossi gets into the press conference room, says a little piece around the cause, and we honour the cause. Honour the cause with a win. I am very much of the understanding. I think this has probably changed with me over the years, maybe as I've matured and grown up a bit. I was so engrossed in footy. Now I've definitely been able to take a bit more of a step back, and I think when things are good, footy's everything. When things are bad, I definitely take a step back and realize, listen, it is just a game. I've spoken about how we live in this fantasy. We engross ourselves in this fantasy of this made up sport, made up game with made up rules that change every week and interpretations. But ultimately it's not real. The feelings that it evokes are real, but it is a fantasy world that we live in. So there are bigger things in this world than footy. And I think that is an important reminder to have, particularly when things are not going well. And that's probably a big part of how I just compartmentalize losses these days. Definitely change. So I'm proud of that. I'm proud to be, supporting and part of a club that raises the issue. At times, I definitely feel like there can be more done by way of the actions of the club as opposed to just the words. But at the end of the day, education and conversation are two important pillars to start the movement. And so I'm happy with that. Just get to the footy. MCG, 7:40. Get the job done. Beating the Cats is important for this Friday night. How important is it for the context of what the year will mean? I'm not really sure. I've read some rhetoric around, if we're the real deal, we'll beat Geelong. I don't know. I don't know if you can view it that way. Geelong's a quality football club. They are not in the same vein of form as what they were early in the season. I do think they found a little something against the Swans, though. They were pretty good up at the SCG for a long part of that game until the Swans blew them out. And the reality is the Swans have done that to everyone. So I think they're poised to return back to form. But overall, I'm confident that we're more than capable, especially with the adjustments we've made to the team, the makeup of the team, the guys that are going to come in, but also the guys that are in the team and where they're playing. Conversation around Alex Cincotta has come about. Does he tag? Does he not tag? If he tags, who does he tag? If he doesn't tag, where is he in this side? That's one thing I'm curious about. Is this just part of the story of 2024, the return of the tagger? And is this something that is going to be a part of our side for the rest of the year? We're going to find out over the next couple of months. But I think if I was thinking about this game and, who do you tag and who does Cincotta go to, I probably don't have Geelong players or a specific player in mind as what I did when we played against the Swans or when we played against the Bombers. I think Geelong have a much more even spread of contributors. There are obviously high-end players. Dangerfield, if he plays, very high-end player. Brian Myers is an architect. He's really come of age and really elevated his game. Then you got Max Holmes in the middle. But from my lens, I think more more than not, I think we're capable of going head to head. Does that mean Cincotta doesn't have a spot in the side? I don't think so. No, I think he definitely has a spot in the side if he's not tagging. But yeah, I guess I'll pose that question to you. What does that Cincotta matchup look like this week? And do you think that'll be a part of the Carlton Football Club's team makeup for the remainder of 2024? Because I know that we talk about the ruck system and how maybe some games you need two, maybe some games you need one. So I am curious around that. Zach Williams now is a stay-at-home forward. I like the look of that. That's going to require an adjustment from the Geelong point of view. And yeah, let's see how we stack up. Let's see what we've learned. Let's see how mature we are against one of the most mature teams in the competition. They're experienced. They've got a range of premiership players in there who have played at a high level for a long time. And it almost felt like we were schooled by them and the experience, the bigger brother last time we played. So can we reverse that? I'm going to go the Blues by 17. Don't know. I've just got the faith. Got the faith that we're going to get the job done. I always felt with this fixture, when we did the predictions, I felt like we would split these two games. It would be 1-1. So that would mean this week's going to be the win. I feel like I need it, which is so strange. Without the footy, I definitely experience things a lot differently in these days. I definitely feel like I need some Carlton footy to talk about. We've had a really interesting couple of weeks. So yeah, those are my thoughts. What about you? How are you feeling going into this game? How was your break? What do you do in the bye? Out of curiosity as well. Do you just sit there, lay down and wait for the Blues to play again? Or do you get active? Do you watch the other clubs? And yeah, share some thoughts about what you've seen from the rest of the competition and share your thoughts about this week. I'm curious to know about your views on rucks, tagging, and what do you think we need to learn more than anything in order to beat the Cats on Friday night? See you at the MCG. Go Blues.